He is a volunteer in charge of protocol and ceremony at the just ended Africa Games. He's joined us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello, Seidu.
I'm with you.
Great. So we saw videos today of an altercation of a sort at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Were you there?
Even though, okay, good evening. Let me just use this opportunity to say good evening to your cherished listeners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the volunteers for the 2023 All-African Games. Even though I wasn't immediately available at the premises when the incident happened, we had gone to the LOC Secretariat to meet with the LOC chairman on some other arrangements that had to do with our T-shirts. So they came last night because the games officially ended on Saturday. And so yesterday, they came and held a discussion, if you like, a meeting of a kind with all the volunteers. So an opportunity was provided for us to share our experiences. Some came out and shared very positive experiences. Some came to share some other negative experiences and all of the sort. And so one Mr. Nelson Owusu Ansa, who is also a member of the LOC, used the opportunity to address concerns of all of us. And the concern was to the effect that the LOC needed to do something when it comes to our transportation. And so he addressed the concern and said it would not even be proper for them to, invite people from both far and near to come and render such an invaluable services to the nation, only to ask those people to go back on their own. So on the faces of colleagues, including myself, you could read a sigh of relief and joy, because we were very happy that something was going to be done and that we were not going to be, to be left to our own fate. Little did we know that it was just a smart way of, hoodwinking us into believing that something was going to be done, when in actual sense, they had no plan to that effect. So how did we know? So after he assured us, then promises were made to the effect that they will add us T-shirts. And so this morning, some of us who are part of sub-leaderships and other committees were asked to go to the LOC and meet with them for the T-shirts, while the rest of the members remain here, so that when arrangements are done to the effect of that payments and other things will be done, then our attention will be drawn so we can rush back. So we were there, and then we started reading very unfortunate scenes on our on our various WhatsApp groups, and then we started reaching out to our colleagues and trying to find out what exactly the whole issue was. And then they said how do I even describe her? She is the leader of a sort for this volunteer program. One Mrs. Juliana Adoyoboa. So, and that the woman posted a statement to the platform to the effect that we were not going to be paid and that we are supposed to vacate the place. Our various rooms were supposed to vacate them as early as 12 noon and those kind of things like that. And drawing our attention to the effect that we are not supposed to take anything along. We have to conduct ourselves very well and live as peacefully as we can. And so everybody was shocked. And I believe, Mr. Omar Osanda, if you were in the shoe of any volunteer, you would definitely be shocked, because the information we have from these people is contrary to what was told us yesterday, for which reason every volunteer was happy. And so this whole thing of, telling us you do something about it and that you will not even allow us to go, and that if you allow us to go under the circumstance, it will amount to bad faith, and that when you want us to come and do something in the foreseeable future, we may not want to come, and so you won't want to create a situation of regret. And so we were happy. So you can, with all due respect, for God's sake, turn around and then say that, oh, what you said yesterday, you cannot do it. Even though they didn't say that, but their action this afternoon points to that fact that what they said yesterday cannot be done. So I asked a simple question. If a volunteer comes from all the way in maybe Sandema or Fumbisi on his own, because everybody came here on their own. After we had gone through the process, everybody came here, every volunteer came here on their own. And even it is important to add that we had some international volunteers. Some people came here through the auspices of the AU. So people travel on their own to come and render services, volunteering services. So it is only proper, irrespective of how you define the word volunteer, it is proper that organizers of this particular event should have known that even if they will not give us anything, but at least something for transportation. Something for transportation. And I have no doubt in my mind that if they had done that, what we saw this afternoon would have been prevented. And so, in short, that is basically what happened.
I see. Interesting. Talk to us about the contractual agreements that you have. How much was supposed to be given to you for what services exactly?
As a matter of fact, because we are speaking to the facts, the communication that came in the form of an email, a letter from the volunteer unit, because I said the head of that particular program is Mrs. Juliana Adoyubo. So anybody that received communication, either you've been selected or not selected, definitely comes from this particular mother that I'm referring to. And so on the face value of that particular communique that I'm talking about, nothing of that sort was stated. Nothing of that sort. I asked him, so you'll be given this at the end of the day, or you'll be given that at the end of the services. But we are relying on what we were told. The same people who would have stated that in our messages or in the letters that accepted us to come and volunteer, they were the same people that told us yesterday, and that is incontrovertible. And I will sincerely plead with you to establish contact with the said Mr. Nelson Owusu Ansa, whom we are told is a former National Youth Employment Agency or something of that sort appointee, and find out from him if indeed during the sign-off party yesterday he made such a statement or otherwise, so that we will know whether it is just the case that volunteers just want to set organizers up for public ridicule, or we have a genuine cause for concern. We were told categorically yesterday, between the hours of 10 and 11 when they were addressing us, after people were given an opportunity to speak on their experiences. And he said, it will not even be morally right for them to say, go back. And that tomorrow, before everybody leaves their hostel, everybody would have gotten what is due them. I am fasting, and I'm yet to even break my fast. And I can tell you with all sincerity that when he said that, he went ahead to even tell us that the package that they were preparing for us will even blow our mind. So the simple, I just want listeners to listen to what I'm saying and to ask. When somebody tells you this, the simple question you ask is, so this current state of affairs, is it the kind of package he was referring to? The kind of package that he said, if we knew what they were preparing for us, will even blow our mind. Is this the kind of package he was referring to? And I will even ask, is this the best way organizers of this particular program can treat their own future leaders? Is this the best they can treat us? They keep touting the successes of this program. Those who witness the services of volunteers will agree with us that, but for us, most of these successes that they are touting wouldn't have been achievable. And I feel very, very bad. I feel very sad that traveling all the way from the north to come here and do the little that I can, so at the end of the day, we can all tout the successes of the program and say, yes, Mother Ghana truly made it, only for us to be treated the way we are being treated. I feel very, very bad. And I sit here asking myself that when will I even allow myself to go into these kinds of arrangements? Because you can't put me through this experience and expect that one day when you wake up and post a link and say volunteers, you need volunteers for A and B, you will get. You are not definitely going to get, because whether rain or sunshine, unless they do the right thing, if they don't do the right thing, that experience is going to remain with us for as long as possible. And in the foreseeable future, I have no doubt in my mind that people are going to be guided by the experiences of some of us and will not even want to show up. We've just gotten to a point where it is difficult to even give yourself out for your country. It's difficult. It's very difficult. And I just want to ask Mr. Umaru, under the circumstances, if there is a need for one party, so party here, volunteers on one side and organizers on the other side, because no organizer or no organizing committee member will tell me that they are not going home with money. None. They can come and say it that they are not going home with money, but that is not the truth. So under the circumstances, I just want to ask a simple question, and I want listeners to look at this question. Those of us who have come to do the volunteer work, we are nowhere closer to those who have organized this program in terms of financial standing. Majority of us are struggling to survive. Majority of us are struggling to just survive on daily basis. So if there is the need for one party among these two parties, so I said volunteers on one side and the organizers of the other side, if there is a need for each one of us to sacrifice for this country, Mr. Omar, I simply ask, is it the organizers who are supposed to sacrifice, or it is those of us who are already struggling to survive who are supposed to sacrifice? So we just got to a point where anytime situation of sacrificing arises, it is the very ordinary Ghanaian who is asked to sacrifice. And I feel very, very sad. This is not what our forefathers taught us. Leaders must always show example, and we are not here to put anybody in bad light. We are simply asking the critical questions. Whatever is due, volunteers must be given. And I want to use this opportunity to state that anybody who come around and say what we are saying is not true is engaging in afterthought, because the reality on the ground points to the fact. The reality on the ground simply points to that fact that they were just trying to outsmart us. And I feel very bad that organizers have overlooked our invaluable services and just trying to outsmart us. And I feel very, very bad.
Sedu, the question that will linger on many people's minds is that you are called a volunteer, and a volunteer is someone who volunteers to do something. It's voluntarily. Why are you demanding for money when you went there to engage your services, or you're going to offer your services voluntarily in the aid of the event that was organized by Mother Ghana?
Yes. So on the spirit of the word, as you just mentioned, we shouldn't have any basis. But the fact that we are demanding TNT doesn't mean if you are demanding TNT, it defeats the word voluntarism. It doesn't.
But that would also presuppose that there was an earlier agreement to be given TNT, where a specific figure has been agreed on, that you in the medical team, you'd be given so much, you in the cleaning team would be given so much. If there was no such prior agreement...
So I'm coming here. Let me answer your question. Majority of us have very close relationship with the head of the volunteer program. Off records, our mother told most of our colleagues, and these are not information we are just trying to make up. Some of them go to her and pick items to come, like items as in maybe accreditation cards, T-shirts, and other things like that. And we force them to ask her what the arrangements are at the end of the day. On one breath, we were told that even though we are here to do volunteer work, we are actually supposed to be, they will give us compensation or maybe something like allowance or an appreciation token. An appreciation token here, we were told, will be some 2,000 cedis, because some were here for more than 1 month, Some are here for like 3 weeks, and so on. So we were told that 500 cities will be given across board in the name of transportation. And then, in appreciation of our invaluable contribution to the success of the program, we will be given 2,000 cities each. And that is why I keep telling you that those who would have stated on our on our emails inviting us to this particular program were the same people who told us yesterday that they were going to. So in any case, let's just assume that they didn't put any figure. And we are not also demanding any figure. But they told us yesterday they were going to give us money. So if you tell me as a volunteer that even though you came here to do voluntary work, when you are going, we will give you money so you can transport yourself back to your various destinations. It is only fair that when you are not forthcoming, I should agitate. I believe there is logic in my answer.
The next question would be, you guys were putting up at the Pent hostel, we are told,
Yes.
in Legon.
Yes.
And then you were dispersed. Were you forced out of Pent today? And what's the involvement of the police in that?
As a matter of fact, I have not seen anybody being forced, but we were threatened. We were threatened. And to some extent, they told us that if by the time they've given us we don't leave, they are going to instruct for lights to be put off, the taps will not flow, just so they make the conditions in the room uncomfortable. Because if you stay in the room and you don't have light, you don't have water, you can't do anything, you can't enjoy yourself in this heat, definitely you'll be forced to go. So the issue about the police, I think, because there is a Shell filling station that is closer to Pent Block C, and a bullion van came in with police escort. I think it came in with money, or they came to pick money from the fuel station. And those who know the Shell filling station and the Pent Block C, there is just a wall that is separating both compounds. And so anybody on the premises of Pent Block C agitating and doing rioting, anybody at the other end of the road could hear. And so the police mistook our rowdiness and rioting to mean a planned attack on the bullion van that came to the premises of the Shell filling station. And so the police, upon sensing danger, decided to fire the shots. And so it was after the whole incident that we got to realize that, okay, because leadership engaged management and then the police, and then we were told that they mistook our listen to mean a planned attack on the
bullion van. I see. So the police did not target you in any way. Okay. Finally,
no, it was actually a target on us with the suspicion that we were planning an attack on their bullion van, because our colleagues have started breaking chairs and trying to distract some few other things, not in the various hostels, but
no one has been hit by the police.
As far as I am concerned, nobody, we've not gotten any.
Moving forward, about how many volunteers are in this Pent hall, and what are you going to do? Are you going to leave, or you're going to keep staying until you're paid?
I think we are all the volunteers are about 3,000.
That's more than everybody who came for the games all over Africa. Oh?
Yes, we are about 3,000. So let me just say about 3,000, because we are over 2,000.
So,
including foreign volunteers.
There were foreign volunteers from other countries?
Yes.
What role were they also playing?
Oh, they were under the various units, because if you go through the emails that were sent, you are given an opportunity to choose what role you want to play. So, for instance, if you want, so I chose protocol and ceremonies. So, as a protocol and ceremonies officer, I was part of those that took part in the opening ceremony. So I was holding the placard for Mauritius. So if somebody's holding the flag, you may not know that this is the flag of Mauritius. But when I'm holding the placard, on the placard you could read and know, okay, so this is Mauritius, this flag is Mauritius. Others were marshals, others were those kind of things like that. And so we were equally part of those who did the closing ceremony, and I believe when I say opening and closing ceremony, listeners know what I'm referring to. And then when you go to Botiman, at the badminton event center, there is a place that is reserved for VIP. So protocol officers are stationed at these particular strategic places where you offer water. When a guest needs water, you offer the person water. When a guest wants to use the washroom, you lead the guest or you show the guest the washroom. Any service that the guest needs, you provide. So I want to state on record that the services that we rendered is something that you can't even place monetary value on.
I see. Okay. So point is, are you going to stay or you are going to leave? And when I say you, I mean plural you.
Yes. I must admit, majority of us have already lost hope. You know, it's not everybody who have had to contain this rioting and things like that because the whole place looks scary. So majority of our colleagues reach out to their friends and family members to seek for assistance to go back to their various places.
Question, Seydou, yes, are you party boys who were brought by party officials to satisfy party jobs or jobs for boys? Is that what it is?
As a matter of fact, if you came to this particular program and you were very familiar with volunteers, we were all Ghanaians across the political divide. There were NDC guys, colleagues. Those of us who came from Tamale, you could see that this an NDC person, you could see that this an MPP person, you could see that this somebody who doesn't even have party, or is not a typical party boy. So we're all here as Ghanaians first, but we have political parties that we belong to. And it will be unfair on my part to say those who came here were solely MPP guys who were brought in to satisfy. No.
Thank you so much.
So we just want to, in conclusion, we are still, I think the situation is a bit calm. We are currently relaxing in our hostels. We wait to see whether the forced eviction will actually happen. And if it doesn't happen, some of us will continue to be here for as long as we want to be here. And then any hope that comes anywhere, then we'll move out. Because it is not the desire to leave your home. In my house, I have full mattress and I have everything. My water is flowing. I wake up and I eat proper dessert. In this Ramadan, the food they bring here, you break your fast. You can't even get proper food to break your heart. When I am in the north, maybe at this time, my wife should be preparing some hot dessert with ayuyu. But we are here struggling.
Seydou.
We can't allow these things to happen.
Seydou, you're still fasting. Don't make me salivate. It's all right. I wish you all the best and safe journey back home.
Thank you very much, sir.
So that's Damba Abdullahi Seydou. He's a volunteer with the just ended Africa Games.